Blue Peter is one of the nation's most loved children's TV shows, still going strong over 60 years on from when it started on October 16, 1958. In this video, you will see how have the actors of the movie Blue Peter changed. You will know their names and age. I will show you how they looked then, and what with them now, in 2025. Okay, let's go. Christopher Trace, 1958 to 1967. Born March 21, 1933. Christopher Trace was one of the two original presenters of Blue Peter when it launched on October 16, 1958 at age 25. He left in 1967 to become a writer and production manager for a film company, before returning to TV and radio. He passed away in 1992 at the age of 59 from cancer of the esophagus. Layla Williams, 1958 to 1962. Aged just 21. Layla Williams joined Blue Peter a year after winning Miss Great Britain in 1957. She later stopped presenting on TV to run pubs with her husband Fred Mudd, the lead singer of pop group The Mudlarks, before retiring in Spain. However, she still sends Blue Peter a birthday card every year, and she turned 88. Valerie Singleton, 1962 to 1972. Born April 9, 1937. Actress and voiceover artist Valerie Singleton joined Blue Peter in 1962. After a decade hosting the show, Valerie presented news and current affairs shown nationwide from 1972 to 1976. She also continued as a roving reporter on Blue Peter until 1981. She also celebrated her 80th birthday in 2017. Now she is 88 years old. John Noakes, 1965 to 1978. Born March 6, 1934. John Noakes was Blue Peter's longest-serving presenter and fronted the show with many co-hosts from 1965 to 1978 at age 25. In 1982, he and his wife set sail to travel the world, but became shipwrecked in a hurricane. He married his wife Vicky in 1965 and lived with Alzheimer's for a number of years before his death in 2017 at the age of 83. Peter Purves, 1967 to 1978. Born February 10, 1939. Peter Purves thought Blue Peter would just be a 6-month break from acting when he signed up in 1967. However, he stayed for over a decade. He continued to present segments for the show even after leaving, and went on to host Crufts, Stopwatch, and We're Going Places. He is also a noted pantomime director. He turned 86 in 2018. Leslie Judd, 1972 to 1979. Born December 20th, 1946. Dancer Leslie Judd joined after teaching Valerie, John, and Peter a routine on one episode of the show. She left in 1979 to look after her husband Terry Gabel, an editor on the show, who had multiple sclerosis. She later fronted her own children's show, In the Limelight with Leslie, and was a presenter on Radio 4's Woman's Hour between 1982 and 1988. Now 79, she lives near Toulouse, France, and works as a conference organizer. Simon Groom, 1978 to 1986. Born August 12, 1950. Simon Groom was an English teacher before joining Blue Peter in 1978. After leaving in 1986, he continued to appear for a while as the show's countryside correspondent. He went on to produce several TV documentaries and hosted Groom's Gold for BBC Radio Sheffield. Aged 75, he is married to wife Gilly, and they run a sheep farm together in Derbyshire. Sarah Green, 1980 to 1983. At 22, Sarah Green was the youngest ever presenter when she joined Blue Peter in 1980. She went on to present Saturday Superstore with Mike Reed and Going Live with Philip Schofield. She also appeared in Casualty, Brookside, and French and Saunders. Now 68, Sarah competed in Dancing on Ice and recently guest presented a few episodes of This Morning. She was married to fellow presenter Mike Smith from 1989 until his death in 2014. Peter Duncan, 1980 to 1986. Born May 3, 1954. Shortly after joining Blue Peter in 1980, the BBC denied claims that he previously worked as a porn actor, after appearing nude in a film earlier on his career. He also hosted the show Duncan Dares, and continued to appear on Blue Peter on and off until leaving in 1986. He married wife Annie in 1980, and they have 4 children. The family also featured in TV series about them backpacking around the world. Now he is 71 years old. Janet Ellis, 1983 to 1987. Born September 16, 1955. Janet Ellis was an actress before becoming a TV presenter. She previously hosted children's puzzle program Jigsaw. She left Blue Peter in 1987 to have her second child, Jackson Ellis Leach. Her eldest daughter is singer Sophie Ellis Bextor. Now she is 70 years old. Mark Curry, 1986 to 1989. Born August 27, 1961. Mark Curry appeared as a child actor in Bugsy Malone and worked on a number of TV shows before being asked to join the Blue Peter team. After leaving in 1989, Mark has presented other shows including Catchphrase and Change That. Now 64. He married long-term partner Jeremy Sandel in 2008 and splits his time between his homes in Eastbourne and the Spanish village of Mijas. Karen Keating, 1986 to 1993. Born on October 5, 1962. Karen Keating presented the show for 4 years before leaving in January 1990. She then raised her 2 sons before returning to TV in 1996, standing in for Richard and Judy on This Morning. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1997 and sadly lost her battle in April 2004, aged 41. Yvette Fielding, 1987 to 1992. Amazingly, Yvette was just 17 when she joined Blue Peter in 1987. After leaving the show, she and husband Carl Beatty set up their own production company and produced Most Haunted for the Living Channel. She went on to present a number of paranormal shows, including Ghost Hunting with Now a Mother of 2. She also runs and co-owns a tea shop in Manchester. She also appeared on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, in 2015. Now she is 57 years old. John Leslie, 1989 to 1994. Born February 22, 1965. Blue Peter's first ever Scottish presenter. John Leslie hosted the show for 5 years before leaving to become This Morning's entertainment correspondent on ITV. In 2001, Leslie and Fern Britton took over from Richard and Judy as the show's main hosts. But he left the following year due to claims made against him by presenter Ulrika Johnson. In June 2003, he was charged with assaulting a woman in 1997, but the charges were later dropped. 5 years later, he faced other assault accusations, but the case did not reach court. In June 2018, he was acquitted of a fresh assault claim after the charge was found not proven. Now he is 60 years old. Diane Louise Jordan, 1990 to 1996. Born June 28, 1960. Diane Louise Jordan turned down a Coronation Street role to join Blue Peter as the show's first black presenter. A devoted Christian, Jordan later left the show to present Songs of Praise and has hosted the show on and off since. Her book How to Succeed as a Single Parent was published in 2003, and the 56-year-old also dedicates a lot of her time to charity. Now she is 65 years old. Anthea Turner, 1992 to 1994. Born May 25, 1960. Anthea Turner had already hosted a few shows when she joined Blue Peter, and later presented GMTV, the National Lottery, and Wish You Were Here. She later married Grant Bovey after a highly publicized affair before their divorce in 2015. Now aged 58, she has appeared on Dancing on Ice, First Dates, and Celebrity Antiques Road Trip in recent years. Now she is 65 years old. Tim Vincent, 1993 to 1997. Born November 4, 1972. Tim Vincent also acted during his 4 years on Blue Peter, appearing in 2 series of BBC One drama Dangerfield. After leaving the show, he presented The Clothes Show and Short Change, and in 2000 returned to acting Emmerdale and the film Sorted. The 53-year-old is now a correspondent for U.S. channel NBC's Access Hollywood, and has also presented a number of Miss World and Miss USA competitions. Romana D'Annunzio, 1996 to 1998. Born January 14, 1972. Romana got into Blue Peter via an unusual route. The editor was impressed with her when he met her at the Edinburgh Television Festival. And when she applied for work experience 4 years later, he offered her an audition instead. And clearly she got it, though she was only on the show for a couple of years. Despite a little bit of stage work after leaving Blue Peter, Romana decided to take a different path and studied an MA in English and Italian at the University of Edinburgh. Since then, she's moved about a bit and has even lived in Dubai. Now she is 54 years old. Richard Bacon, 1996 to 1998. Born November 30th, 1975. We could have sworn that Richard was on Blue Peter for longer than 18 months. But perhaps he just made a big impact on us. Of course, we all know that Richard didn't exactly leave under the best circumstances, getting sacked in the middle of a series after admitting taking cocaine. The scandal would have put an end to lesser presenters' careers. But Richard managed to rise above with roles on shows like Top of the Pops and The Big Breakfast. He has 2 children with wife Rebecca and moved to the US to build a TV career. In 2018, he was in an induced coma after becoming ill with pneumonia, but later recovered. Now he is 50 years old. Stuart Miles, 1994 to 1999. Born February 20th, 1969. Since leaving Blue Peter, Stuart has guest presented shows including This Morning, Holiday, and Soap Fever. He has also started regularly performing his drag act as a character called Stella Ratner. Now works in radio and presents a show with former Blue Peter co-star Katie Hill. Now he is 56 years old. Katie Hill, 1995 to 2000. Born April 15th, 1971. After 5 years on the show, Katie joined the team on Live and Kicking and went on to present Top of the Pops, Football Fever, and the Millennium Quiz Show. She divorced her first husband after 2 years and soon started dating her Live and Kicking co-star Trey Farley. They married in 2004 and have a daughter called Kaya and a son named Akira. Katie has her own lifestyle and parenting blog and co-presents a radio show with Stuart Miles. Now she is 54 years old. Kenny Huck, 1997 to 2008. Born July 17th, 1975. In 2017, Kenny was voted the nation's favorite Blue Peter presenter of all time. After 11 years on the show, Kenny left to present The Extra Factor, The One Show, and wrote a short film, Ahmed and Mildred. She met her husband Charlie Brooker in 2008 and have 2 children together. Now she is 50 years old. Simon Thomas, 1999 to 2005. Born 1972. Simon previously worked as a runner and later stepped in to replace Richard Bacon after his sacking. During his 6 years there, he also presented CBBC Proms in the Park and later joined Sky Sports News. He is now a regular presenter of live Premier League coverage for Sky Sports. Simon's wife Gemma died in November 2017, just 3 days after being diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. They had 1 son together, and he has spoken openly about dealing with becoming a single parent after a sudden tragedy. Now he is 53 years old. Matt Baker, 1999 to 2006. Born December 23rd, 1977. Matt Baker won 2 BAFTAs for Best Children's Presenter for Blue Peter 2 years in a row. From 2009, Matt started co-presenting Country File and 2 years later became a full-time host of The One Show in 2011. He has 2 children with wife Nicola and was a runner-up in the 2010 series of Strictly Come Dancing. Now he is 47 years old.